the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to start by welcome everyone to the school board meeting this evening. Remind everyone that we are live streaming the board meeting when the green light is on. So we'll start the meeting tonight by accepting a motion to accept consent agenda items. I have a motion by Earl. Do I have a second? Second by Pat. Any discussion? All those in favor? 7-0. Next, we'll go down to community non-agenda items. I believe we have some guests in the room from Hayden. Excited about that. Nikki, you want to introduce?
Mr. Hartwell, would you like to introduce who you brought with you this evening?
Absolutely. So I have a tough time getting some kiddos here because there's ball games and everything going on. And Oakley here, I want to brag about her in a second. Oakley Robinson's here to sing for us tonight. We're so excited to introduce you and tell you about the Hayden musical, the spring musical. We do it every year. Mr. Stoner does an excellent job with it. And when we talk about a kids musical, you think of a cute kids musical, but this is professional. We have professional lighting and sound. It is top notch. I really do believe it's one of the best you'll ever find for little kids doing a musical 5th and 6th graders. And they do it all from the working in the crew in the background to the singing and the acting as well. Mr. Stoner, actually, I'm gonna brag about him for a second. He wrote this Disney Dreamland. He wrote this, and so it's very impressive that he took the time to do this. The kids are excited about it, and now it's time for me to brag about Oakley here. Oakley, as of yesterday, did not know she was going to be coming to sing this because she already had said no about this because she had volleyball practice. And I had sent a text to Carrie and said, Carrie, I can't find anybody who can come sing. And she goes, you got to find somebody. And so I called Oakley back in. I said, I'm begging you. I called Mom. And it all worked out. So she went from today, she had science I learned today, which is one of the toughest tests. It's a rough one today. Had musical rehearsal after school today, then went to volleyball, and from volleyball she's come here to sing for you tonight. So thank you, Oakley, for doing that. So we're going to show her off a little bit tonight and show you a little bit, give you a little taste of the musical. I'll let Mr. Stoner though talk about the musical just a second. It's going to be next weekend. We're going to talk about it, Mr. Stoner. He loves talking to people.
Yeah, like Mr. Hartwell said, instead of purchasing a story that is that you may be familiar with, I wrote the story this year. It's a jukebox musical, so I didn't write any of the music. We took 14 well-known Disney songs, and then I wrote the story that weaves them all together about a little girl who travels through different lands and meets different famous Disney characters on her quest to become a princess. Oakley, as you may be able to tell by her outfit, you can see, plays that little girl's fairy godmother, and she sings this song from Pete's Dragon to our little girl in the show. You ready?
Really quick before, the camera is at that end of the room, so maybe we could get up so that she could face the camera. It is live stream, so we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to.
I'll be
Robinson School Musical at Disney Dreamland at Hayden Elementary next weekend, May 2nd, May 3rd. Great job, Oakley, great job.
Nice.
You and Mr. Stoner and Oakley, is that okay?
You want to make her walk around and do the little handshakes here? Walk
Can we
around,
shake
her
your
by
hand after that beautiful performance?
That's great.
What about Mr. Hartwell? Is he going to sing for us?
Laryngitis.
I'm kind of being scared.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for bringing
Very
her.
proud of you. Way to go. Great
Thank
job.
you. Thanks. May 2nd and 3rd.
Yes, so May 2nd and 3rd, 7 o'clock at night, Hayden Elementary, Disney Dreamland. We'll remind again at the end of the meeting. So that was great. I can't imagine at that age getting up in front of a group, let alone doing it at a musical, right, at the school. So that was wonderful. And I'm not sure what was more fun, watching her sing or watching him direct her. That was great. So wonderful. So the next thing on the agenda is to ask if anyone is present who would like to speak on any items on the agenda or any other topic. And I believe we do have someone here that would like to speak. Kim Sears?
Yeah, do I just sit here?
You can, either way, whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah.
Amy and Mary would be too short to stand here. So, my name is Kim Sears, and I have numerous grandchildren throughout those schools. Literally, there is 15 in the schools right now. And there's been a lot of bullying, a lot of it. And the kids go to their counselor to say, hey, these kids are bullying me. In the process, when they go there, they're informed to, oh, just walk away. Or just ignore them. Or, well, they've got a crush on you. This is not the answer these kids want to hear. It's not giving them help. We are supposed to have a anti-bullying thing. 0 tolerance for bullying. These kids aren't getting this. They're not getting the help, and everybody wants to point fingers at the teachers or the parents or the grandparents or whoever is at home with them. But if they can't get the counselors to work with them, then why would they think that anybody else is going to help them? And when this first came about, the girls that was being bullied the most, which was one of mine, who has trichotillomania, so she has no hair, and she gets made fun of because she doesn't have the hair. And the boys were pointing at her and pushing her seats away from her. And they did go in and deal with it, the whole class, because they had some girls that were harassing her too. They went in and they brought them into the office and they talked to them with her. The boys they didn't talk with boys, but the principal and the vice principal, they did get it taken care of. But this has been going on for months. And I didn't know about this. It went on last year. And I didn't know about this because she had already gone to the counselor and nothing was done. So in her eyes, that was the highest up person who was supposed to help because they were inside the school. And I love the counselor as a person, but she wasn't doing her job as the counselor for these kids in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And that's not right. This is why we are supposed to have more participation, because the kids need it from teachers, the parents, the grandparents, whomever is in the care of them, and the counselor, because the counselor is the one at school that is supposed to help them, is supposed to be the one to get these kids and have a talk with them, the principal, whomever, the higher ups, and that way they can get a hold of the parents and say, hey, this is why your child's struggling, or a part of why you're struggling, because the parents can't parents can't know anything if the kid shuts down because they're not getting the help at school. If they know this is happening at school, then parents and grandparents can help them. I mean, my little one, she didn't say anything to me because she has a lot of mental issues and that. Since this came out in full bloom, her attitude, her mood, it has done a complete 360. And it's because his daughter told him, and he called me, and I went straight to the school because that's what I did. I wanted it stopped. And as a community, we are supposed to work together to help kids. That's the way I feel. Everybody, it says it takes an army to raise kids. What happened to the army? Because it's not happening. I mean, our principal and vice principal, Mrs. Driver, they're awesome. But once they get into 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, they go to Mrs. Campbell. Like I said, amazing woman. I love her to death. But as a counselor, she's not doing her job. And then these kids are feeling like nobody cares. And they're being bullied on social media, the ones that have it. The kids that are bullying them at school are also bullying them on social media, and they're hearing about it or they're seeing it. Where is the help at school? And my 10-year-old had her teacher put on leave because there was numerous kids in her class that had been bullied. So apparently they felt that that was a class that was having problems, so therefore, she was part of the problem because she didn't see it. But the kids that had had the problem have already gone to the council. And she was the teacher to 2 of my grandchildren in 6th grade. Never had a problem. She has been communicating to me about my 5th grader, because she's her teacher now, and she had my youngest one in 2nd grade. Never had a problem. She's always communicated with me, and I feel really horrible that she's the one that is on leave until all this is figured out. When I know what kind of teacher she was for 2 6th graders, and a 2nd grader, and all this, I know what kind of teacher she is, what kind of a person she is. She's very caring, and if she knew that there was bullying going on, she would have stopped it. And then we get told, as he did too, well, we can always put them in a different classroom so they're not with the kids that are bullying them. No, these bullies need to get suspended. That's what needs to happen. These bullies are bullying them, and they stop for a few days, and then they start back up. What happened to no tolerance? 0 tolerance is not being done because these kids are still there, they're still harassing them. Something needs to be done. And if we're going to be 0 tolerant, then it needs to be 0 tolerance. If not, then I'm going to tell my kids, beat the crap out of them. They'll stop. Because my 14-year-old had a kid come at him and punch him, and another one came up from behind him and was punching him. He flipped him on the ground, was beating the crap out of him, and he got 4 days suspension because that's not self-defense. 1 punch is self-defense. But when you got 2 kids on you and they're trying to fight you, I don't care. That's me beating the crap out of him is self-defense.
So first of all, I understand you've got a lot to unpack there, and I know that this is emotional. I understand that. We do have a time limit, and you've gone over, and that's great. I appreciate the feedback. So first of all, I am sorry that you don't feel like that the school has addressed your concerns or your child's concerns. A couple of things. First of all, the school corporation does have established policies, procedures for all of the personnel investigation. So when you talk about individuals, especially employees of the school corporation, please know that we are following all of our appropriate policies We're making sure that all investigations are completed. Anything that requires timely investigation, we want to make sure that we are receiving all relevant information. So I think that's important. We can't talk about personnel
Right.
issues,
I
but I
understand.
want you to know that on our end, we are, Nikki, her team, we are following those appropriate processes and procedures. I want to be clear about that. The second thing, I, again, appreciate you bringing up your concerns. We, as a board, as a school corporation, we are committed to making sure that we provide safe and supportive learning environment. And when you talk about it taking a village or it taking a team, it really does. It takes everyone. So I think last week we had an individual, I believe her name was Marcia. She also spoke at the board meeting about bullying on this topic as well. We did go over then, and since then have sent out some information for parents and for students so they know how to report any events. So I'm going to go through that just very quickly. It's going to be information that you've probably read or hopefully have seen, but I'm going to go over it again just very quickly.
Because what they want to do is they want to switch the kids that are being bullied into another class.
Yeah. And what we want to do is make sure that we're receiving the information and that we can deal directly with that. And again, I apologize that you feel like that didn't happen in your situation.
Oh, no, I believe that it did happen, but there's other kids that are still getting bullied that their problem's not getting taken care of.
So let's go over, so let's go over the methods. Of course, we always want to encourage students, parents, grandparents, community members, if you see something, say something, right? That's always important. We are committed to doing that investigation and making sure that we follow up on any items. So ask an adult for help. I believe that we have very dedicated teachers, counselors, school administrators that want to do the right thing. I truly do believe that, or I wouldn't be sitting here today. Those individuals, if a student, a parent, a grandparent goes to any of those individuals, we hope what happens is that they offer a variety of resources to support, to address any concerns that you might have. If you all, a student, a grandparent, a parent, a community member, feels like that has not been resolved, then what we would encourage you to do is to escalate that to the next level. If a student feels that it's not been resolved, they can go to the school principal, to school administrators. That is the next level where that can be taken. Reports can also be submitted directly. They can email reports. There's a functionality on the Parent Square app where that can be sent in. Anonymous bullying reports can also be sent from the school website. All of those are options. Again, we prefer it not to be anonymous because we want to be able to investigate it, and it's difficult if it's not.
I have something to say, it's not going to be anonymous.
Well, we appreciate that. We
They
appreciate
know me.
that.
They know me.
The last item is that if you can feel like things have continued without resolution, we encourage you all to come here to the administration building. Dr. Johnson, Carrie Manowitz, Todd Ebinger, Mandy Sullivan, any of those individuals are individuals that you can come to make additional reports so that we can follow up on our end to make sure that processes are followed, because we do have them established. There are, I believe, did you put cards out again? I think Deb put cards out on the table. Their contact information is there on the cards. You can always call the administration office. That's 346-4483. All of that, we want to make ourselves available because, again, we are committed to making this a safe environment. I think we would also, you brought up social media. I think we would be remiss if we didn't say that it is extremely difficult with social media if family members, community, if we're not monitoring social media platforms that these kids are involved in, right? I had young kids in the school corporation. I have grandkids. Social media can be extremely difficult. Things that are put on there disappear quickly. They can't be found. They're hidden under different apps. I think Nikki sent out different resources for parents and grandparents. If you want that sent out again, we're more than happy to share that with you. That's where we have trouble monitoring that. We can't monitor that for your children, right? That's where we need your help, and that's where it truly does become a team in making sure that we manage that. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to Nikki and the team. We appreciate you being here tonight. We appreciate you bringing this forward. It is on our minds. It is important to us. And so I would just say thank you for coming and sharing.
Appreciate it. You
Absolutely.
know me, I've got a voice.
Thank you. Contact
And
us
Sherry,
anytime.
Thanksgiving forever.
And please send other parents our way. If
Yes.
they're talking to you and haven't been in, please encourage them to call Carrie or I. Please encourage other parents to call Carrie or I if they're talking to you but not coming in. If you can help
Yeah.
us with that, we'd appreciate
Well,
it.
and that's what I told him. I said, any of the parents that, are on, because we have an anti-bullying set up, and we have numerous parents that are, their kids. And we actually talked to Matt Miller yesterday, and I talked to him the day before, and then I met up with him yesterday, and we brought in my 5th grader, who was one that his daughter let him know about being bullied. And so she came in and she told him that there's only a couple that are still bullying her, and that since they had the big talk with the kids, and that, and I told him, I said, it's not just one 5th grade class, it's all the 5th graders and all the 6th grade classes. I said, I'd like for you to bring in my 6th grader, and that's so she could let you know some of the kids' names. And when she came in there, she was talking about, what was going on, who's going through it, and, and different things, and what they've heard. And, if you're in a relationship, there's going to be trouble with people making fun of you or doing this. That's not the reason. They're just little stinkers. Whether they're parents or not, they're little stinkers. And so he's like, because she gave a bunch of information on what's been done and said and stuff like that. And he's like, well, I'm glad that you guys communicate, because I had no clue how much there was going on. So, because I told him, it's not just one class, it's not just one group. This is numerous areas of the school that this is going on. So.
Very good. Again, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. And again, encourage, if you are in a group on social media that other parents are involved in, please encourage them. Share this information. Encourage them to bring their concerns forward.
Right, I will.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll go down under old business. It looks like we have a program. This is very appropriate following that conversation. It's the Say Something program.
Yes, so the next step in the process of approving the Say Something program would be your approval of our MOU with them to start the process. So this is the free app through Sandy Hook Promise, and we feel like it would be an upgrade in what we have available. It offers anonymous and not anonymous reporting, and it also includes self-harm, suicide ideation, bullying, and school safety. The really added feature to this is it is 24/7 and also connects to local law enforcement and help. So if there is an immediate concern and someone reaches out through the app, a student reaches out, they get immediate support. So asking for approval for the MOU so we can begin that process of onboarding the program for next school year.
So moved.
Second.
Wow.
Hey,
I've got a motion by
that's
Pat. I've got a second by Mary Lynn. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? 7-0. Next under old business, we have a resolution for some property.
Yes, I'm asking board for approval for the resolution to purchase real estate across from the Hayden Elementary. This property would help alleviate some of the parking lot issue from a parent pickup standpoint, and the safety involved with that. It would open that up a little bit if we could put cars there, just regular parking there, and then be able to make that flow better. So moved.
I have a motion by Travis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Cheryl. Any discussion? All those in favor? 7-0. Next, we'll move down under new business. We have some Neola policies.
This is a first reading on a group of Neola policies that are all involved with AI use in the classroom. And so as AI is becoming more common in society, we need some policies to match its use and what's appropriate and what's not. So first reading, if you have any questions, please reach out.
So we'll bring those back to the next board meeting. Next, under programs, we have Purdue University NMAC Design and Innovation.
Thank you, it's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is.
I'm glad you said it and I don't have to. Yes, I'm asking for approval. We were selected as one of very few schools in the 22 county southeastern area region to receive this studio from Purdue Polytech Institute. It was a recommendation from Cummins, which we are so appreciative. They work with us closely on several items. They are helpful, anything STEM related. So we have a great relationship and we're very appreciative of that. This new lab will be housed at the middle school that'll be available to K through 8 students. So I'm asking for approval.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Chelsea. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Pat. Any discussion? All those in favor? 7-0. And then we have some data. This is an inform.
Yes, so this is our annual results-driven accountability. So this is kind of our report card from the state in special education. So we'll go through just a reminder on how the state determines what group we're in. It is by the enrollment in your school corporation. So we fall in the middle or the medium category, 2,501 students to 10,000. So that's our group that we get compared with on our scores. The next slide, they take from top to bottom, they take all of the school corporations in that category, and the top 20% get 5 points, the next 20% get 4, and then so on, 3, 2, 1. So that's how they kind of rate how you're doing with your results. It's a moving target, so we might improve from year to year, but our score may go down because other school corporations in our category might improve as well. The next page shows how the score is calculated. So 25% of our score will come from graduation rate. 20% of our score will come from our least restrictive environment percentage. And then 55% of the score comes from assessments, I Learn, I Read, and I Am. So on the next slide, this is data from the 23-24 school year. So in math, our students receiving special education who were approaching proficiency, we had 37.8% of our students approaching proficiency in math. That put us in the 3-point category, which is 40 to 60% in the state in our category. For English language arts, we were at 33.7%, which again put us right in the middle with that 3 score. Going over to the right, so this is the median student growth percentile. In math, we had 50, which put us at a 4, so in the top 40%. And then in English language arts, we had a 50 as well, which was a 4. Going down to the bottom row, for iRead 3, we had 79.4% of our students receiving special education support pass iRead. Our I Am score, this is the alternative assessment. And this score is a little different. This is, it's a federal cap of 1% can take I Am. So anything below 1% gets a 5. Anything above 1% but lower than the state average gets a 3. And anything above the state average gets a 1. So we were above the state average at 1.8% of our students testing took the alternative assessment. The next group is a percentage of students who graduated with a diploma. We had 82.6%, which was a 2. And then our last group is our students who receive special education support who are in the general education classroom 80% of the time. We had 84%, which gave us a 3. So breaking that information down over the last 3 years, you can see on the left, this is our math passing or approaching proficiency rate. So in 21-22, we were at 29.1%. In 22-23, we jumped up to 31%. And then the 23-24 school year, we did jump up to 37.8%. So we had a big jump there. We still stayed in that 3-point range though. It looks like a lot of school corporations in our category made that jump as well. Looking at English language arts, in 21-22, we had a 30.3%. In 22-23, a 26.2%. And then in 23-24, we did jump back up to a 33.7%. So for the median student growth percentile, in 21-22, we were at a 40. In 22-23, a 49. And then 23-24, we jumped up to 50. For English language arts, we were at a 41 in 21-22. In 22-23, we jumped to a 43. And then in 23-24, we were up to a 50. So you can see there, that 21-22 year in English language arts, we actually went up from a 41 to a 43, but our score dropped. So that just kind of shows that it is a moving target. We're trying to make ourselves better in special education, but other districts are too, so we're trying to outperform the districts in our category. So for IREAD 3, in 21-22, we had 75% pass. In 22-23, we dropped to a 54 or 55.4%, but our score actually went up. And then in 23-24, we jumped up to a 79.4. For IAM, we did have an increase this year. We've been at 1.3% the last 2 years. We did jump up to 1.8%, which is really, when we look at the percentage, it's about 7 students were added to IAM from the previous years to this year with that small jump. Our graduation rate for students with or receiving special education, in 21-22, we were at 58.3%. 22-23, 71.8, and then 23-24, it was 82.6. And then the last one was our LRE code of 50, which is students receiving special education are in the general education at least 80% of the time. In 21-22, we were at 92.9%. 22-23, we were at 83.8%. And then 23-24, we were pretty steady with an 84%. So that's just the breakdown in a graph form. We can go to the next slide. So that was the results data. Other ways that we're graded is making sure that we are in compliance of all special education policies and procedures. And we were compliant in all areas. And then the last one is making sure that we have timely reports, making sure that all of our reports are turned in on time. And we were, if you want to go to the next slide, we were on time for all of our reports that we had to turn in. So the last slide here, this jumps and shows that in the past couple of years, we have been a level 2, which was targeted support. And we were working with some outside organizations that were coming in and helping us look at some of our instructional practices that are going on in the classroom, how we could decrease some of our special education percentage. We were also looking at just policies and procedures of when do students get dismissed from special education. And those are some things that we've been looking at. This year, we did jump out of targeted intervention. We are now at no support. We are level 1 this year. These two are not scored data points, but I thought it was, I just wanted to show the growth that our students are making. This is the proficiency gap. So this is the difference between all students approaching proficiency and our students receiving special education. So the lower the number is the better. So in 22-23 in math, it was 29.6%. And then in 23-24, that did drop to 25.3%. And then in the same in English language arts, it was 33.5 in 22-23, and that did drop to 29.4 in 23-24. So that proficiency gap is closing between all students and our students receiving special education support. One of the things that we've kind of been talking about is our special ed percentage has increased with our enrollment going down. Our special ed numbers have increased. So this was the first year in about 5 years, 6 years, where our number did go down. And I think that's with some of the practices that we're putting in place, some of the conversations we're having with parents and things like that, we are starting to see that number come back down. But with it didn't keep up with the pace of our enrollment loss, so our percentage did go up. But that is one thing that we've been kind of targeting with our principals and with our TORs. And we have been tracking that every month and talking with our TORs and our principals about it. We are currently, this was December 1st data, we are currently back to 25% as a district in special education. So we are making those adjustments. And then this last one, this is also December 1st data. This breaks it down by the schools, and then it also breaks it down by the 13 special education eligibility areas that they could qualify for special education support. The big thing to look at here is from 2018 to 2024, we have doubled the amount of students receiving support through autism, through the eligibility of autism. And then the other area is speech impairment. So the amount of students receiving speech, that number is also on the rise. So those are two areas that we'll continue to look at and see our programming and any additional supports that we need to put in place there. But every other number is kind of staying steady or going down. There was a lot of data there, but any questions that you might have?
I would call out to celebrate all of our special education staff. They have worked tirelessly since the pandemic to make sure that all of our student groups, including special education, recover from any academic loss during pandemic time. And it is clear to see in this year's data that we are back or better than what those numbers were in most categories for pandemic achievement. And so that is just a testament to the hard work that they've been putting in. The other thing I would add is seeing that graduation rate for students with disabilities rise so rapidly, and it's just a testament to a lot of hours of hard work and partnerships with parents and kids, and just very proud of everyone.
And Nikki, I was gonna call it the same thing. I mean, when you look 21 to 22, 58.3%, up to 82.6% for graduation, that's very impressive. I know that takes everybody working, but that's great progress. Does anyone have any, this is an informed item, does anyone have any additional questions for Todd? Okay. So we'll move down under professional staff. It looks like we have one recommendation.
Yes, please. Asking for approval for Rebecca Driver to be employed as a unified assistant track coach. So
I have a motion by Mary Lynn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Cheryl. Any discussion? All those in favor? 7-0. Next, we'll move down under support staff. We have a permission to post.
Would you like me to read it? Okay. Permission to post one kitchen manager position, please, for the summer food program.
So moved.
I have a motion by Travis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Pat. Any discussion? All those in favor? 7-0.
Also asking permission, please, to post up to 4 cook positions for the summer food program.
Motion by Earl. Do I have a second? Second by Chelsea. Any discussion? All those in favor? 7-0.
And then one more, please. Asking approval for the following individuals to be employed at JCHS as custodians. Mill Phillips as a JCHS custodian, and Andrew, I'm gonna need help with this one. Voskufka. Wojkowka, thank you very much. Thank you, I need that. As a JCHS custodian, but it would also include the groundskeeper position.
Great. Entertain a motion to approve those two recommendations.
So moved.
Motion by Pat. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Cheryl. Any discussion? All those in favor? 7-0. Next, we'll come down under finances. Philip?
Yes, ask the board to approve the following donations. Brush Creek Elementary, Dave O'Mara, contractor, $100 for the pizza for the 6th grade celebration. High school, for the high school, Columbus City Band, $300 to the National Art Honor Society. Northfront and Beverage, $150 to the HR Pathway Class Field Trip. And the Vernon Cleonan Society, $100 for the orchestra department. And lastly, the North Vernon Elementary NBIC $200 teacher grant to Jennifer Sanders' first grade class for Scholastic magazines.
Entertain a motion to approve those donations as read. Earl has a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mary Lynn. Any discussion? All those in favor? 7-0. And I think we're down to other. Nikki, anything?
Just a heads up to keep an eye out. We are ready for the open house for the high school CTE area. So on May 13th, and this is open to the public, 6 to 7 p.m., the high school CTE new renovated areas will be available for public tours. So we're going to put that out on Facebook to be shared and have the details, but just want to give everyone a heads up that on May 13th, the public's welcome to join us and see what we've been working so hard on.
And you said 6 to 7.
6 to 7 p.m.
Yep, so May the 13th, 6 to 7 p.m., JCHS CTE area, open to the public. And please come and see the area. We've had a little bit of a preliminary tour. It is really beautiful. Super excited about the healthcare side of it, but that would be normal for me. I think the welding and stuff is great too.
Yes,
So,
food
yeah.
service, we'll have all of it open.
Great. And then we'll also just remind everyone, Hayden Musical, Disney Dreamland, May the 2nd through May the 3rd at 7 p.m. both nights. So go out and support Hayden Elementary and the kids who are involved in that musical. Anything else to come before the board? Hearing nothing, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I have a motion by Chelsea. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Pat. All those in favor? 7-0. Meeting adjourned.